Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 15th edition of Coffee with Ashish. And today we have got an extremely inspiring, a person with us, Mr. Shyam Nijavan. And before we get into conversation with him, I think it's truly amazing to sort of go through the kind of speakers we have on this show over the last 14 seasons. But you would see that most of them would focus only on one aspect of the business, whether it's GDS, whether it's an OTA or a meta search engine. And you would have also seen that many of them caught on to the travel bug in the last 10, 15 to 20 years, which is when travel became so glamorous and a interesting and a profitable business to get into, and a lot of venture capital was flowing into it. But today we have with us somebody who didn't get into travel with because of all the glamour and capital that was going in, and who has actually seen the entire business over more than 4 decades. So even before people germinated the idea of building up scalable businesses in travel and technology, uh, here is one person whom we are so privileged to have with us today, who has seen it all, who has grown the business from the scratch. And we get so many inspiring stories of the Tatas, the Birlas, and Ambanis who have got cross generational legacy of businesses around different sectors. But nobody talks about travel. And in my research, which I have done, I think the closest match to such a cross generational legacy in the travel business is Nijhawan Group. I haven't seen anybody that comes close to this legacy over last close to 70 years when Mr. B.L. Nijhawan started this journey, back in the day. And it was a chance effect. Shyam Nijhawan, who's qualified CA and a cost accountant. Back in the days, it was always very advisable to get into a safe job in a government or in a private company like a Tata. So, like most of his peers, he also wanted to join a safe haven like a Tata Group. But his father just sort of advised him to give it a try, and if it doesn't work out, he can always go back to doing a job. So with mixed feelings, he joined the family business back in 1974. And back then Nijaman Group was only doing GSA for Punjab, for British Airways. And with time in the 1984 and close to 1988, Mr. Sham Nijavan grew the business, scaled it up, and except East took the GSA for entire British Airways and American Airlines for the entire Nijaman Group. And close to 1998, when the third generation of Nijavan Group, which is led by Ankush Nijavan, whom we also fondly know and admire, he joined the business. And the amazing thing about Mr. Sham was that, unlike his father, who told him to join his business, he didn't tell Ankush to join his business. He said, "You don't get into the GSA business. You catch up with the time and do something which is the need of the hour," which was using technology to consolidate small to medium agents and actually build a B2B business, which nobody thought about back in the late 90s. And then we all know, we all sort of crib about this whole gloom around Corona, but the business faced major crunch around the new millennium and the dot-com crash and the 9/11, which sometimes you all forget, right? But at that point in time, it was a huge blow to the travel industry. And the Nijhawan Group, under his leadership and with Ankush's input, actually got through and sailed through those major crises around the world. And the rest is history in terms of what Ankush has achieved with the TBO Group. They do more than $2 billion in GMV. They do representations for Dubai tourism. Mr. Sham also, mentors and supports his children, and they do a big time business around retail. They represent more than 26 brands in India, from Levi's to whatnot. And I mean, they've got extremely diverse portfolio. And Sham ji, like a true entrepreneur, even at this stage, I mean, he is actually 70. I was personally shocked to know that he looks more like a 60 or a late 50. He surely qualifies for with his fitness regime. But he is 70 and he's got more than 42 years of experience. And he loves sharing. Even before the start of this session, he was sharing with us that people just come to him and randomly pick his brains and take his advice and wisdom with no agenda. And I think that's the greatness of the man, that, he really is there to give back to the society. He's not sort of hung his boots, although he do likes to play cards on a daily basis, I'm told. And he has a penchant for luxury cars. He likes to play cricket. He keeps himself busy in his hobbies as well. But I think it's the greatness of the man that he still takes out time from his schedule to help young people and inspire them, and young entrepreneurs like me, actually look up to him for his wisdom and help, and he has never said no to anybody. And we have Ashish with us also, as always as the host. And personally, it gives me great pride that Ashish has actually worked with all the three generations of the Nijhawan group back in his days of Mercury and Oberoi group in late '79, when Ashish also joined the industry. So, it's a very interesting interplay of, speakers and audience we have today who have actually seen the group grow from those days in the 60s and 70s. And unlike always, where I show you a cartoon or a funny anecdote, today I'm going to show you a couple of pictures of this amazing business group in the travel industry. So if you see the first picture on the left, this is the inaugural of the Vayudoot flight to Dehradun in 1982. And, Mr. Shyam Nijhawan, his father, is the one who was taking lead there. So you can see them in the picture. On the right, you see his on his memorial trips to Italy and the family. And I've also been able to capture a family cross-generational picture where you've got Bansilal Nijhawanji, Shyam, Ankush, and now also his kids, whom I'm eagerly rooting for, will also join the travel industry and are going to further revolutionize it probably. So, it's so amazing and so nice to see the Shyamji, that because many times Ashish and I have debated that why don't the second and third generation of travel industry entrepreneurs join the trade? And here we have such an inspiring story that, there is three generations have already made it big, and each generation has added to the legacy of the previous generation. It's an unheard story, and I think everybody needs to hear it and, need to get inspired from it. And Shyamji, from his contribution, has also been awarded Lifetime Achievement Award by TIE in 2017. He also got the Lifetime Achievement Award by the Indian Travel Awards. And even now, he catches up with what's going on in the world. They invest in a lot of startups like Dineout, InShorts, Let's Transport, Peabody. And I think it's truly inspiring to have somebody like him there to us, and we can look up to him for guidance. And with all these, I know your introduction can take in itself half an hour, Shyamji, and I'm not going to bore you with that because you get that enough during your day. So with that, a very warm welcome. Namaste, Shyamji. We are so privileged to have you with us. And with this, I'm going to request Ashish, who knows you for last 30 years and has worked with all the generations of your family, to have a conversation with you while I sit back and enjoy my coffee.
Thank you, Karthik.
Shyam, how's your coffee? Did you get your coffee?
I did.
All right.
It's tasting good.
Good. So, Shyam, my first recollection of you was in 1984. And what I recollect more was a very nice, slick brown briefcase. Because those days we used to have chunky briefcases. And here, Shyam Nijhawan, who walks in with a nice, slick leather briefcase he puts on my desktop of my office in Calcutta. So that's 1984. And you were, of course, a British Airways and an American Airline GSA for North India. But let's just go back for a moment to your dad, Mr. B.L. Nijhawan, 1946, which probably you don't know, or if you don't remember, that much later on in life, when you set up Travel Boutique fancy store in South Extension, he actually called me one day and he said, "Beta, mujhe foreign exchange business set up karni hai, jara aake mil le." So, we did have a chat on the foreign exchange business. But coming back, he obviously assumed the moniker of BOAC, Bansi, which I gathered in the book. But tell us that what is something which his legacy, your legacy, and in current day generation, what are takeaways from which hold true even in today's time?
Well, Ashish, it was you and I met in Calcutta, if you remember. It was not even in Delhi,
Yeah, Calcutta.
And, correct. If you really calculate, It comes to about 36 years.
Yes.
You know.
Amazing.
When you talk about, you started talking about my dad. Actually, I get emotional when I talk about him. So, if you think that my voice is cracking or something, you understand what I'm saying.
Right.
My dad was a great inspiration guy. He was a go-getter. He was a great pusher. He was a very ambitious man. And what I learned from him as character, I would say, was three things. He was one guy who used to have, whenever he had dinner at home, we would all get together. He will check on my school, and also he will give details of what happened in his office, which was of no relevance to me at 14, 15, 16. But he will discuss क्या problem आया, कैसे solve किया, who was involved, what did I do. Well, I used to hear it, and that's it, you know. And by the time I grew up to be past my teens, I had taken three things in stride. That you have to have a very good character, and you have to have a very good creditability, and you must do planning in life. By talking about character is that you should be honest, integrity should be good, you should be hardworking. And once I did ask him, what do you mean, when you work hard, you don't get an extra pay? He told me, he said, when you work hard, the people you work with may not recognize you, but the outside will, and you will then create opportunities for yourself to, to improve yourself in your career. And that's what happened in 1974 when British Airways invited him. It doesn't happen very, it's not common that people are invited to take GSAs. People, what all people do to get GSAs. But because of his hard work, reputation, he got it. He told the guys, I have no money. They said, no problem, no bank guarantee, nothing. So the integrity part or the character part also played there. Creativity is what I picked up. The second thing from him was that you should never do anything illegal. You should always follow the law of the land, and then you will have a good sleep night because you have nothing to worry about. And financial commitments, if you make, you must honor them. There may be payments, recoveries. It could be even your targets for that matter. So financially, you should always, and that is what I followed throughout my life. And my accountant in 80s, when I took over the helm of affairs, I told him, if I get a call for a check, you will be sacked. First write your resignation and then write the check. So believe me or not, I never got phone calls for mera check tyaar hua, refund ka nahi hua. And people just say, yaar, jab banda bhejo tab mil jata hai. And it was just, my checks were ready 10 days before due dates because I had to send them across India, and you know how the banking was. Checks used to be cleared in 15 days. So we maintained that. Planning part, I think, is the best part, which I still preach to people, is that you must have plans for the next 5 years. If you remember, the government of India used to have 5-year plans, which Mr. Jawaharlal Nehru started. And it was planned what is going to happen in 5 years. I don't know, I probably picked up those 5 years thing from them at that time. So I have always planned my life for every 5 years. So when I sit at 25, I know what I want to be by 30. And God has been great. It helps me to get where I do. Sometimes, most of the time, I have overachieved from what I did plan. And I think it's because He's pleased with me that I do my work honestly and I do it legally. So I don't know what, but I believe God does, rebound back and gives His blessing. And I believe when God gives you something, you cannot earn it. That's my story. And if you look at anybody's life, I'll say, go back to your birth and then look at every 5 years. Life has changed. And you will see every 5 years something has happened differently from your life. And that happens most of it. If it is not happening, I'm not sure how good a life you're going to lead. So that's it. 3 things to live, mantras to learn from your dad. Followed it, and here I am.
I somehow relate, even in today's time, the listeners would be able to translate it into our current times. But we'll come back to the current times later. Let's just go back again to the time when you and I knew air distribution model to be a 9% healthy commission for a travel agent, a 3% commission for a GSA. And I think those are models which the current times may not be able to relate to. But just give a sense of the overview of that model to our listeners to form a backdrop of where things have moved.
Well, it's a thing of the past, but yes, it was there for a long time. Probably it was for about 25, 30 years. The GSA model did work. Uh, if you go back to the mid 70s, airline offices were only in Delhi, Bombay, and Calcutta, and that also was British Airways because they used to fly there. Right. And some airlines only had one office, Delhi or Bombay, depending on where you were flying. And there were agents, ad agents used to be very few, 2 in Punjab, 1 in Ludhiana, in UP, a few in Karnataka and all places. And these agents, they couldn't do anything because they didn't have a reservation system. They didn't have telexes at that time also. So every time you had to make a booking, you had to call Bombay. So when the numbers were growing, the airline realized that you must have your footprints in these places so that you can serve the customer closer to him, And that is when the GSA concept started. The GSA did get 3%, which people used to all rave about, all the associations used to talk about it. But they didn't realize that GSA had to open dedicated offices for that airline, and the staff was dedicated. So you had to pull all your overheads through the 3%. And if you were making 0.5%, you were lucky. So it was not the most innovative kind of a business, but this is how the concept came through. What happened later was that ad agents started coming. That is a story which keeps growing. The reservation system, communication got better. Then GDS came much later in the 90s. People didn't have the facility to do that. But to serve the customer better, to get nearer to the market, to serve even the sub-agents better, the concept came. And it flourished. And if you did a good job, you get more areas. I started in Punjab, then I expanded to North India, then I expanded to South India and Western India, because probably of my good doing, I guess.
Yeah. And I think if you look at the participants today who are listening to you, and if you were to just use the word book, the first thing they will do, they'll reach out for their mobile phones.
Right.
So, I mean, that's how...
Story. Today is very different, I had realized in 2001, this concept is not going to go for a very long time. And I had started planning. And if you see the GSAs, people who used to run GSAs have come a long way out of that concept. And most of them, the successful stories came from the GSAs actually.
Correct.
I don't want to name the people, but...
yes. Models have been carved out of that. So when did you, at what stage you realize that this is going to end or this is going to change? And what made you change?
2001, I realized the consolidation business had picked up, and the consolidators... Earlier, the consolidators were issuing tickets on their IATA number in your area, so you were getting your 3%. But then they started consolidating in Bombay and all where it was not getting into your territory, so you were not getting your appropriate overrides. It was in 2001 when I spoke to my wife and said, this business is not going to go for another 5 years, like planning, And 2 things I did in those 5 years was plan my old age. In case the boys don't look after me, I should be self-sufficient. And I should have a fixed income. And the other thing was to be on the lookout for a change or a diversification or a change of the way we were doing our travel business. Fortunately, Ankush came along and things happened, And what can I say? He came along and surprisingly, he did a great job. He actually trusted him on me through his mom. And but he did a great job, and then he wanted to go for his MBA. And I said, Baba, tu nahi ja sakta, ab business badha diya itna, kaun sambhalega, mere bas ka to hai nahi. So he stayed back, and you know his story. And we have been in thick and thin, travel guys. We opened an IATA agency in '94. Then we opened a non-IATA through Lalita Nijavan, the travel boutique, the Southeast office you saw.
Yeah.
So she was into that. She just wanted to be a travel agent and a non-IATA. And she did fantastic business. She made good money also, by the way.
Right.
So this is how things have changed. And then you want to hear what happened in 2005, 2001 actually, when I told Lalita this is not going to last, I tried my hand on technology, but I scrapped it halfway through. And if you remember, Pradeep Kalra and some other people also tried at a similar time. And Pradeep actually, had to struggle for 5 years because I realized this was not the right time, so I scrapped it. Right. And many others who pursued it failed. But Pradeep, Kalra kept going on it, and finally he got his shoes right. And he became a success story later. But in 2005, when Ankush was working hard, doing everything, he was also getting impatient that kitna karenge, you know. So that was the time when technology, I said, is the right time to go for technology. Fortunately, I met this guy, Gaurav Bhatnagar, who's our co-founder. I met him for about half an hour, 45 minutes only. And he had come back from Microsoft and all. I said, "Tu Hindustan kya karne aaya?" He said, "Uncle, मैं कुछ करने आया हूँ, मैं कुछ करके दिखाना चाहता हूँ." I liked the josh, you know. And I said, we shook hands and we formulated a way that let's open a new company and all that. And I spent 2006 building the software with him actually, because I knew the processes of the airline and I knew what the agents also want. And if you remember, there was the first time when tickets were issued online, the name of the travel boutique was not there. The name of the agent, sub-agent issuing the tickets came up.
Correct.
And that was what I wanted. And Gaurav was very encouraging. Actually, he told me once, he said, "Uncle, fulfill your dreams. Ab jaise chahte ho." So this is the first thing we started, was issuing the ticket in the name of the
Agent, yeah.
agency. He could send a mail from our system with his ID. From 100 crores, we started when we saw our top line in the GMV. And I remember I was sitting in the room planning, humne kya karna hai. So the last figure on that graph was 5,000 crores. And these boys from 100 were laughing at, you know, and this is, "Ye ho jayega? Maine kyun nahi hoga?" And I, surprisingly, I must tell you, whatever I predict normally happens, you know. This is quite a famous saying with people who deal with me. The 5,000 crores came much earlier than I predicted.
Right.
And things started moving from 2007. After that, there was no looking back. You know what it is, 1,400 crores and whatever, you know. So,
Right. So I'm going to take you on that prediction word, and let's move to the doom and gloom of today's time. Shyam, I'm sure our viewers want to know what's happening next.
you know, how I treat life is time, samay, waqt, ये सब एक ही बात है, and something which is never constant. And recently, if you heard Amitabh Bachchan on his on his Facebook,
Yeah.
वक्त है गुजर जाएगा, वक्त है गुजर जाएगा. I don't remember the rest of it, but it is true. Doom and glooms we have seen a lot in life. You know, this is not the last one. Maybe this is the very important one, in the sense it is unprecedented the way it has happened. Because the whole world has come to a standstill. You had reasonable problems. If you look back, if I can count your dooms and glooms of India in the last 60, 70 years, till 60, life was very good in India. Travel wherever you want. Dollar was only 475. Pound was only 1350. Pick up your choice and leave. And I was fortunate enough to travel when I was 4 months old, you know. So it became, I thought it was a part of life, you know. But I know that not many people were lucky enough. Then everything started wrong. We had visas coming in, we had P-form coming in, then we had 3 wars, we had a drought, then we had the emergency, then we have travel agents being imprisoned. One day, 44 agents were picked up in Delhi. You know, I was the fortunate one who was left out. But, and then came I would say the coalition government for the first time. But we were lucky. The restrictions were taken away. Just a P-form had to be filled, no permissions. You didn't have to get sponsorships from your thing. Assassination of Mrs. Gandhi, Sikh riots, terrorism for 8-9 years in Punjab. That was during the 80s, that was one of my premier areas. So my business suffered. Then you had an exodus of the Kashmiris. Kashmir was a great part of travel and tourism, you know. And then your bomb blast and Narasimha Rao struggling with what you call foreign exchange reserves. Reforms happened, business started looking up, and things started improving. But then you have the bomb blasted in Bombay, and then again governments fell. And then the hijacking started. This is when the security picked up after terrorism. Then the 9/11, Parliament strike. Your financial debacle in 2008. So things have been happening, demonetization. Things have been happening which have been challenging your business. But some have lasted 2 months, some have lasted 6 months, some have lasted 9 months. Punjab terrorism, from Punjab to look up, so about 10 years or 8 years.
Yeah.
You have to live with all things. You have to keep, I call it, resetting your business to move on. You get my point?
Rebooting it, as we talk.
Huh?
Rebooting, as in we talk in today computer language.
आप टेक्नोलॉजी वाले हो ना, हम थोड़ा अंग्रेज हैं, तो रीसेट कहता हूँ मैं. बात वही है. Sorry, you can call it rebooting also. I'm not a great technology guy. Thank God my kids are. So even my wife is a great technology friendly. So let's not debate on what you call, but it's let me stick to my reset. Now we are at a stage when nothing has happening. Thank God. मैं कहता हूँ कि पहिए जरूर चलने चाहिए. The aircraft, the train, the bus, and the चौथा पहिया जो है ना, उसको मैं कहता हूँ travel trade. ये जो princess suppliers हमारे हैं ना, they think, but they can't live without us also. So we have to be there to support the industry, and we are very important. Unfortunately, we do not find that importance. We don't take it into our stride. We do not take pride in what we do. Look at what happened with the government. Nothing for the travel trade. Right? I don't think it was planned well. We ourselves are to be blamed for it. 10% of GDP, 10% of labor force, we all keep harping about it, and yet nobody bothers. Impossible. Any other world, things would have moved differently, But our presentations, I would blame that we are a divided family, In the sense, I must give credit to all the associations. They worked hard, they made their drafts, they presented the drafts. But they were presenting drafts to whom? Tourism Minister or Civil Aviation. These guys do not make fiscal decisions. You are supposed to be talking to industry, commerce, FMs. And then your demands should be something which is worth taking, Asking for, I'm not being critical, everybody does a good job. Asking for a waiver on income tax in the year 2021. Who's going to make money? So when you're not going to make money, then what is the need of asking for that demand? If I was a FM, I would have said yes to it and pleased them. But tax aana hi nahi hai. Tell me how many companies out of the travel industry are going to make money this year? So where is the point of asking for a waiver? GST, sale hogi to GST hogi, boss. Moratorium you got. These are very small things. Hamari demand honi chahiye, please recognize us as an industry. We are an MSME. If you were recognized for that, there are so many benefits these two groups get, which we are not getting. Without a collateral, 3 lakhs MSA ko mil raha. I attended a seminar of Mr. Modi. 1 crore of rupees in 59 minutes was being approved if you apply as an MSME. And depending on your balance sheet, they will figure out. But the higher limit was 1 crore. 59 minutes, he said, your approvals will be done. I don't think any one of us made anything. I don't know how many MSEs made the use of that. No, 10 to hum ban gaye associations. Can I carry a little bit more?
Yeah, please do.
So, 10 ban gaye. So, hum kya hai? Har association is equal to 1% of my GDP. 1% gives the labor. Because there are different segments we have in the industry, which are a very long list. So, even if you divide the 10 in association, we have 1%. Who bothers? My suggestion is, एक तो हमारे में unity नहीं है. If I give you an example, like 1% excise was given to the imposed on jewelers, if you remember 4 or 5 years back.
Yes, correct.
But 40 days, the guys just closed the shop, yeah. And ultimately the government gave up. They were not asking for a rebate on the 1%. They said, we will not report as excise, we will report as VAT. But that is unity, yeah. We also boycotted an airline. You were in the industry there.
Yes.
What happened? Nothing. We fizzled out. The leaders of the association themselves were issuing tickets in the back door, yeah.
Yes, I
don't want to name what was happening.
Tom, I'll just add here Putting posters on our offices, we will not sell British Airways, was one of the most foolhardy decisions the association ever took in their life.
Nothing. So what happens after that is, who cares? The principals, your suppliers, the government, they don't think anything about it, because we are seen to be a very, an industry which is very glamorous. Everybody thinks it is a discretionary expense. But if you ask me, 80% of travel is non-discretionary. It is essential. Because 20%, yes, people have a discretionary expense. They will go for luxury. They will go for everything. But there are basics to be fulfilled in travel also, people. No?
Yes, sir.
There are so many segments which need to travel. They will travel no matter what happens. So we have to portray that picture to the government. It's not about glamour, yaar. It is about people getting jobs. So much of tax comes to you. 10% is a pillar, yaar. Building gir jati hai agar 10% gir jaye. So that's what I'm saying. They have to get together. Now I want to give you all these associations should become subcommittees, and we should unite under one umbrella. Like the name, you can be anything, but today I can suggest you TRAVCOM, like NASSCOM. Everything the government talks about to the software industry is through NASSCOM, right? So TRAVCOM, we should have 2-3 very highly experienced guys in the industry who know how to present and who can talk to the industry's minister. He can talk to the FM. He can talk. Tourism minister is important, I'm not saying, but you have to raise your voice and very articulately rather than just talking about it. And I will suggest to my fraternity, they have to find a formula for this. Otherwise, government is सुनने वाली भैया 1% की कोई नहीं सुनता. आप just look at what the association have done about refund. All my fraternity friends are tight on their finances, on their cash. Refund नहीं आया. Ministry के पास गए. Ministry said 3rd May को, remember if there was an article in the newspaper, 3rd को everybody will be refunded. आज 26 हो गए यार. IATA को हम कुछ नहीं कहते. If I default on IATA for 1 lakh rupees, the whole world knows about it and you are blasted through your everything, right? Your stocks are sealed, everything is put on end. But when the airlines don't pay through IATA, nobody talks about it. Do we ask IATA, तुमने हमसे तो ले लिया बैंक गारंटी, आपने एयरलाइन से बैंक गारंटी लिया है?
Sure.
नहीं लेता. Jet went down, Kingfisher went down, they were IATA airlines, yeah. What happened to their dues? Agents were left to fight for themselves.
A lot of money went down east-west in the earlier days.
वो तो मैं आगे लाइन ले जाऊंगा तो बड़ी लंबी है. Any airline when it went down, the travel industry lost money, and our association never put up a fight for that. You're getting my point? So the idea is our fraternity should now put forward a foot to make one. This has been tried. The problem is, जब doom and gloom आता है तो सबको याद आती है. तो जब 2 साल के बाद सब कुछ ठीक हो जाएगा, सब हो जाएंगे यार, ठीक है, उसको चौधरी बनने से क्या फर्क. But I must remind everybody, all these things will happen every 5-6 years. We will have to have a good spokesperson. ये जो doom and gloom incidents in life चलती रहेंगी, and so I suggest the Trevor fraternity, all these heads of all these associations get together, formulate a plan, and out of them will evolve this platform. I'm not saying, and they will all have these subcommittees giving their own segments needs to the platform, who can then talk about it to the government. I think I will end it at that. I've said enough.
Yeah, no, Shyam, there is nothing, I can react to and say, no, let's do it this way. All I know is one thing, that the world has to reinvent itself. We have to reinvent everything we do, including our business, how we live in our homes. You and I today, I don't think when we started our career could think we will do a Zoom call like this and talk to each other. We thought, yaar milte hain, yaar coffee peete hain, So the same way associations need to reinvent, they need to get back onto the drawing board.
Yeah, I'm also telling you, ऐसा नहीं है. I want to encourage my fraternity. कुछ ना कुछ government करेगी. And this is something, which is very important. क्योंकि अभी भी, if you see every week something or they keeps coming up. The Reserve Bank guy comes up and he gives something. This time he has given something very pessimistic. He says our GDP will be minus. in the negative, which he has accepted. So the government will work towards getting things back on track, because ultimately they want the taxes, they want the GST, because how are you going to run the business? So I think things will come. Maybe not in next week, but sometimes they will. I think the tourism industry will be looked
Right.
up.
Right. So Sham, let's talk.
I'm
Yeah.
hoping.
Yeah. Let's talk about going forward in terms of what business plan should look like, what balance sheet, how do we manage our cash, the usual questions which probably people ring you to ask every day.
It's not, like I told you, I want to be on a reset model, and or a reboot. I'll give you the credit for that. So basically, you have, what is set up? You have to go back and see, when you started the business, you had no knowledge about the business. You had no intelligence about how things happen in this business. Today, you have already spent, I don't know, depending on the person, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. We have experienced people who have had the experience, and today they have the intelligence, they have the product knowledge, they have the source, they have the market knowledge. Everything is there. Apart that, the business is not there because the players are not playing. When you want to reset yourself, don't reset with a negative mind. I've heard a lot of people want to close down shops, to look for another business. I must tell my friends, there is no better business than the travel industry. It grows at the highest rate compared to with any industry, and you will never regret being part of it, because you have going to see one low year doesn't mean that it's going to be not rocking in the future. All you have to do is, the way I would do my plans, and that's what I've been talking to my boys also. And I could sense this from the 1st of March, actually, even before the thing happened, when Mr. Trump said no more from the West, or sorry, from Europe. I said, "Ye to danda manda ho gaya." So I told my boys that you have to now start cutting your cost, and the cost must reduce by at least 30 to 35%. My business now, what in a reset mode, what you have to do is draw a fresh balance sheet, and your cash position, your ODs, your whatever you have debtors, you have airlines debtors, refunds from your thing. So you will know what are you worth. It may not be in your hand, but that is the cash you have at the moment. Then you have to focus what will be your revenue this year. I don't know, people are not going to appreciate when I'm going to tell them, but I don't think anybody's going to do more than 30% of what we did in 1920. My personal view, I can debate it and I can challenge it with figures, but if you want to be very optimistic, I will give credit to anybody who does 30. Now, the way I look at balance sheets of a travel agent is, whatever revenue he gets, and I'm not talking about the GMV, if he gets, let's say, 100 rupees as revenue, 80%, most of them will see their balance sheet, they will come up with these figures, 80% is expenses. Now you have a situation when you have 30-35% revenue, and you have a gap of almost 50 to 45 rupees.
Yeah.
So you have to cut your cost by 30 to 35 by salary cuts, real estate, anything in the P&L. The P&L looks very funny at the moment. No? There's everything on the left side. There's nothing on the right side. The only thing it shows is carry forward loss. So we have to look into every penny we spend and how we can bring it down by 30 to 35%. It could be internet cost. You may have a very crude example, but you may have an internet connection of 599. Go for a 199, यार. वो जो है ना 400 रुपए तो हैं, वो छोटे छोटे करते ही आपको करना है. You have to be very serious. You have to be very stingy now. So you need your basics. So the moment you reduce your cost by 30-35%, you come down to 53 or 56, and you are sitting at 30, so your gap is about 20%. This is if you do keep going the way your model is, you will lose 20 rupees out of that 100 rupees. Now comes the challenges. What else can you do to reduce this loss? Is to take up some, like what every agent doesn't do everything. There's a huge list of pilgrimages, medical tourism, student life, adventure, Name the list. We all know what we are talking about: domestic, wedding group, mice groups. So whatever you do, pick up another segment of the travel, because travel to start होने वाला है. अभी तो नहीं होगा, but I think by September end things will go back to normal, if not normal, to a 60% level, because the government itself is saying 30% now till August end, then they will raise it to 50%, and by September onwards things will look more normal, and we might see some international flights coming in also. So look at some different segments to add on, and that you can add on individually. It depends on, again, your area where you work or what you do. So I am not going to suggest which one. And the three things we must do together is to cooperate, consolidate, and another thing is collaboration, cooperate and consolidate. By this I mean consolidation may be a little difficult thing, to happen, but cooperation we can. You buy from me, I buy from you, and we reduce our expenses.
Right.
And cooperation is that I support you in your business, and you take a corporate deal. You know how it happens. I don't want to tell the airline guys, but we will do it together. So to get a good deal out also. And consolidation is something that you merge companies. It can happen across India. And when I'm talking about segments, you could be, and cooperation and all these, you could be doing, you're in Bombay, you could be doing it with a guy in Chennai, or you could be doing it back.
Geographically.
Geography, you will expand the areas you have, so you will have more opportunity to sell in those areas. Consolidation is you merging companies, and that is very difficult. You have to find a good partner for it, a trustworthy partner. I can tell you one thing: partnerships are of great strength. If you are two individuals, good individuals, believe me or not, if you have many examples, when you join hands, your strengths go up. So I am for consolidations, and leave it at that. And the other thing I want to tell everybody is, at expenses, I want to tell, you can save a lot of money on the real estate. You can negotiate your rent. If he doesn't agree, you can go to a smaller office. You can share offices.
You can work from home.
Not everybody may not be able to do that. And then you can share staff also. You share offices with people. हम अपना काम करेंगे, but your staff and mine are common, So those are the extreme steps we have to take for at least the first year. And then, sorry, I think I missed out on something. Having done this and maybe lost 5 or 10 rupees, then we plan for the next year. The next year, the way I look at things is, we will do 90% of what we did in 1920. We will not still do what 1920. But our expenses are down to 55, 56.
Right.
So even if you add another 15 rupees to it, or 15% to it, that means 65. That means you are going to make 30, 35 rupees.
Your margin improves.
Right. The following year, now you have learned how to do business at lower expenses. You will do 120% of what you did in 1920. Life will be as normal as anything. The vaccine will be there. People will be, frustrated. And our population is less than 28. Sabko ayashi karne ki aadat hai. So everybody will be back on track to travel. And that 65 will probably become 75. And if you're more liberal, maybe 80. So you will make 40. So add 40 to the 30 we made next year. And you take away your 5, 10, you make 60. And divided by 3, you made 20, which you were making last year. So all you are doing is deferring the profit of this year to make it up in 3 years. So there's no reason for anybody to give up the business.
That's very well described, Shyam. Very well. That's very well described. I like that.
And then obviously you have to, there are so many things you can do more. Adopt technology in a bigger way, expand your reach through technology. It's not easy to build technology if you don't have it. It is expensive to build and to maintain. Hire one. Take a white label, for example. TBO does that. So you're online. So your people can be online. You could be into a B2C business if you wish. And somebody at the back is looking into it, so you don't have to even bother about it. You get it for a very nominal cost. I don't want to give it away because that is not my decision at what price who gets it. So I will leave it at that. And you have all the intelligence you had gathered in your past. So why bother? Think about it. You will get it. And there are companies, you have to raise money. There, I'm sure if we can get a recognition for an MSME or something, then you can get some money on those schemes. But then there are companies who also give you credit, like I think it's the Mint IFI or some other IFI also is there. So they will give you loans. NBFCs are a good place to go for loans if you don't have securities to give. You can even go for, there are now companies, I think Sand Cash, which provides credit to your customer, and the EMI comes directly from the customer. Agent doesn't have to pay anything, and the liability of the EMI is also not with the agent. So you have sold a ticket, somebody else got the Sand Cash pays you, and they recover from the bank. You're out of it, no? So there are many ways to improve your liquidity and things like that. Even if foreign exchange is another one you could look at. There are apps which help you buy cheaper for forex, and then you can put some margin of yours for your customer, and the customer gets it at the market rate. So there are many ways you can do these things. And when you are, this market is going to have better margins. I think sense is going to prevail over the travel industry, and they will work on a little better margin than we've been working. That's one other way of reducing the gap between the expense and the revenue. So this is my saying. There's a lot to do. There's a lot to plan, but nothing is impossible. And I can tell you, if you go to the 5-year plan, as I used to say, you will, and divide it by 5, then you're far ahead of the 1920. That's the way I look at it. So I don't know how people will react to this, but मेरी calculation यही कहती है, I keep telling Ankush, you will lose money this year, but don't worry, you will make money next year and you will be saving again. चलता है.
No, it's not how people would react, but what you've said can't be disputed in terms of plain common sense.
But I tell you, put these figures on your, I would like to put on your computer, and you will see, यार ऐसे 20 रुपए का क्या करना है? अब तो 20 रुपए की आपकी लड़ाई रह जाएगी, तो आप कुछ ना कुछ, you will find ways and means of filling it up. You may not be able. I'm sure nobody will be able to fill up. I'm sure 95% exceptions are always there. We'll lose money this year. This is my forecast, and I keep telling my boys also, don't worry. This is a year to give it back. But then the next 4 years, you will have sufficient. You would have made up this year also, and plus meet your targets which you were making. I think I will leave it at that. Kafi ho gaya.
Shyam, I was telling my 25-year-old son, who's obviously not in this business, he's a musician, he's a composer, but I was telling him that the world is now divided between essential and non-essential. People did not know the meaning of essential and non-essential as they know it today, because it is making you decide what is essential and what is non-essential. And if you look at it, whether it's your expense, whether it's your traveling, whether it's your deeds, if your services are all going to be broken, and you will decide it accordingly. The second thing I tell people with what you have said, which resonates, that when the world has come down, there's only one thing you carry across the line, is your intellectual property, which comprises of your knowledge and skill. As long as you have that with you, you'll be able to build up again. If you didn't have that in the first place, you will find it hard to build up. So that's what it is. But I want to get back to a more personal question with you. You mentioned about your wife, and you talked to your wife that, this GSA model is not going to work. So your wife, Lalita, who I've had the pleasure of meeting on some social occasions, how did she manage to cope up with so many travel industry folks under one roof? How does she react to all this?
I must tell you, she's the pillar of the house. Keeps all the 10 of us, in their own place. There are always things which are somebody's depressed, somebody's overexcited, सबको cool करना, सबको इकट्ठे रखना. So, and everybody in the family respects her a lot. On a personal note, she actually is a very hardworking person herself. if you will not believe it, that in 1979, or 3 years after our marriage, she went to London to do a ticketing and travel affairs course also.
Oh, wow.
She came and worked with the German Travels for some time, and but and then she got involved in social activities, and she's a great. She supports education. She supports women empowerment and things like that. 98. NTS was there, so she had to support my parents and also they look after them and all. 98, she says, "यार मैं तो बिल्कुल free हूँ, मेरे को तो travel में वापस आना है." So, and I had this office space in SouthX, and he says, "IATA agency है, इसको non-IATA बनाते हैं, and now traveling has become difficult. There is so much traffic on the road. People want to be nearer to you. We can serve the customer of South Delhi, where most of the passengers come from near to their home. So SouthX was a pretty central place for South Delhi. You know that." So वही discussion के बाद हमने शुरू कर दिया. She became an independent unit. She made her own money, and so doing great. She said, "इतनी मेरी social life है, I can tell people to buy from me. So all that is required for my travel." Then came Ankush in 2000, and he started helping her. I didn't let him in actually to the office, but one day, that's a long story, so I won't tell that. So he did very well, and he really picked up the business. Then he wanted to go back for his MBA, and we had a long discussion for about 4 hours. Why 5 years of business is equal to an MBA? You don't know how to apply for a job. Actually, he went out to have job, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and all of them said, "You are Shyam Vijay's son. Why would you work for us?" So that was it. So he came and he joined, and you know what happened after that. But Lalita gave up. I think she worked with him for about a few years, and then all of a sudden, one realized that she's back to her social life. She going to Agartala Education Fund. There's a lot of things she did. I don't want to go into it. And she got her recognition from many places. But the one from the President of India to get an award 3 years back. Women empowerment.
I read that one.
I think हम तो सब travel trade में बेवकूफ हैं, हमें ना पद्म भूषण या किसी को पद्मश्री मिला है, पर उसको award मिला President. I think that's a great achievement. And she still continues with her own work. She also looks after our CSR and all that. Very busy person, but everybody is happy with her.
You mentioned about how you didn't let Ankush into the business. I'll share a little tidbit which probably Ankush remembers or not remembers. In 2001, I used to head International Travel House. So Jet Airways had called us for an award to Srinagar. And I saw this young, slim-looking youngster with a young wife, obviously just recently married, doing their own thing. And we were there, all the veterans of the industry collecting awards. And later I discovered it was Ankush and his wife, and he happened to be your son. I didn't know at that stage he was your son. I asked somebody, I said, "Who's this lovebird who's, come to Kashmir for a different agenda?" I don't know if Ankush would remember that. I think it was 2001. But, that aside. So what's your final message, Shyam, before I hand you back to Karthik, who might have some audience questions coming into him?
My final word is stay where you are, reset yourself. You're in the best industry. You have all the knowledge it takes. I'll give you a little small calculations more. There are 30 kids born in India every minute. One of them is going to be a traveler. If you take 33% of it, when you go up, I think 3% will go. Multiply it by 60, it is 60 passengers. And if you multiply by 24, you have 1,500 passengers a day. Tell me which industry goes at that time. You need at least 2 aircraft to serve them every day. And not even Indigo will buy it at that rate. So don't worry. This is going to grow, man, out of proportions. So stick in there. ठीक है, 1 साल है, बीत जाएगा. Don't worry.
Shyam, I'm going to sit down with you when this is over and actually make a business plan based on the assumptions you've just given here.
No, anybody in the States is welcome to see me. I am one person, people, I believe, if you have a knowledge or experience, ज्ञान घटना चाहिए. A lot of people in India do not, and they will misguide people. My wife and I was a young 35, 40-year-old. She said, "आप लोगों को क्या समझाते रहते हो? ये कल सब आपके competitor बनेंगे." मैंने कहा, तो I'm a believer. मेरा दिमाग और मेरा भाग्य को नहीं ले जा सकता.
That's true.
Be positive.
Yeah. Knowledge grows when you share it. So over to you, Karthik, for the audience.
Thanks, Ashish, and thanks, Shamji. I mean, personally, coming myself from an engineering and Deloitte sort of an analyst background, I loved your mathematics in terms of how you think the demand is going to come and
Mm.
that deferred, recognition of expense and revenues. I think if everybody starts to think like that, and I'm getting a lot of messages from people that they probably never thought about it. So I
Mm.
think that's really appreciated. You laying it out in the words of a common man that how that maths will work. I've got few questions. I'll probably bundle them for your convenience. So one set of questions people are asking is, we've covered a lot about India per se, but if you talk about what's happening in the international market, for example, we know what happened with Virgin, what happened with Hertz few days back. They filed for bankruptcy. A lot of these events are happening. And then
Mm.
parallelly, if you read in international media, not a lot of positive things are being talked about India, whether it's the situation of migrant workers or the fiscal packages introduced by India, or the general perception about how hygiene is going to be managed in India even post COVID and the crowds and whatnot. The general perception about India, even in near term, from a traveler's perspective, doesn't appear to be very very positive. And with at the backdrop of whatever is happening in the international travel market, how do you see that playing out for the overall Indian travel market in the midterm, near to midterm?
Karthik, you list out so many things, मुझे बताओ, एक साल पहले ये सब नहीं था. इंडिया में सब कुछ यही था. सिर्फ आज हाईलाइट हो रहा है. And this is happening all over Europe also. If you tell me to go to Italy or France tomorrow, I'm not willing to go, यार. But I tell you, our rates are far better. चाहे वो डेथ के हैं तो चाहे वो इन्फेक्शन के हैं. I think India is a much safer place. ये हमारी ऑपोजिशन की प्रॉब्लम है कि कंस्ट्रक्टिव बात तो करते नहीं इंडिया की, So that's the problem. I don't think anything is going to change. If airlines are going under, somebody else will come. So these are part of business, yeah. कोई वर्जन को ले लेगा, अगर चली गई तो it is not going to go for good. Every slot in this world will be again used by the end of the next year. So you will have maybe more flights or the same number of flights. It's all about.
You really exude positivity.
It is all about making. Man, next year you will make money.
Right. And to the point of maths, I'm going to hold you.
मैं तो जब से पैदा हुआ हूँ इंडिया में बीमारी है, इंडिया में ये है, इंडिया में आ गया ना, सब कुछ ठीक है यार, दुनिया जीती है. It's a great place. I'm telling you, this is a great place. Numbers are there. The demographic is in our. We have a great leader in Modi ji. You watch China से कैसे US वाले आते हैं इधर, देख लेना. Fill the gap वाले बहुत चीजें होने वाली हैं. So be encouraged.
Right. And I'm just gonna poke you a bit on that maths you did on behalf of my audience, because many of them are saying कि sir हम तो startup हैं, we don't even have that 180 ratio. We have zero revenue anyways, and we had just started our company 1 year back, but expenses are there. Yeah. So how do we even cut our costs? Because we were at a bare minimum level and we were hoping to ride on to this whole travel technology startup ecosystem, but that anyways is very discouraging. So what message do you have for startups who were not a traditional travel agent, who were running for so many years that they could optimize and balance these levers of revenue deferment or cost deferment? What would you say to them?
They are in the best position actually, because they don't have a gap to fill. They have just a gap to match. And if you're sensible, don't be over excited about doing the business. Take it easy, learn it. Don't spend too much money. Do whatever limited business you have, and you will be at par actually by the end of the next year. And then it's time to take off.
Right. And in fact, the last point, Shyamji, not a question, but many people are saying they love your idea about how the entire travel fraternity needs to come together and how to voice the opinion to the government appropriately. And many of them are telling me that you are actually that person who has to lead it. Why are you shying away from taking that role? So hopefully you have to say to that.
No, thank you very much for that. I will take it as a compliment. But I think, this is a long story. If you look at, I can be a consultant in the group. I cannot be the leader. Because these things take time. I'm going to, today, another 5 years time, मैं क्यों काम करूँ? मेरे को शाम को ताश खेलनी है यार. मुझे क्रिकेट मैच है तो मुझे नहीं काम करना है. मैं बहुत जी लिया लाइफ को. मैं सजेशन दे सकता हूँ, मैं समझा सकता हूँ, मैं एडवाइस दे सकता हूँ. पर आप बोलो यार, I should do the running. I don't know. Maybe Ankush will pick it up one day. I think it's too early for him also. हमारा तो इतना पॉजिटिव, like my younger son also is coming in, being trained to come into the business.
Right.
It's so very positive. You got to be very positive about it.
No, so true.
अगर ट्रेड
So
हाँ चलो मैं ज़्यादा क्या बोलूँ
no, I think in general it was very well appreciated, and in fact, I mean, I have done almost 14 such sessions, and mostly the vibe is generally negative. कि पता नहीं क्या होगा, what's gonna happen. And here I am filled with messages of hope and motivation which you have given, and I think that maths has also helped a lot of people think that it's actually not that bad, and maybe they are overreacting at this stage. So I think they are all really enthusiastic and positively filled with energy now. If you have done that at the age of 70, I must compliment you. At 33 myself, I sometimes feel, beaten down कि पता नहीं क्या होगा नहीं होगा. But seeing somebody like you at the age of 70 being so gung-ho and positive, in his approach, I personally admire that a lot. And I'm sure Ashish, who's also not that young, but still younger than you, is also filled with a lot of, positivity and hope. Ashish, do you have any concluding remarks?
Yeah, except, Shyam, please play your cards, go and watch your cricket match. But if Arjun Nejaman does decide to come into the industry, please mentor him. Because that will be the fourth generation of Nejaman.
He is the more fortunate one because he's got Ankush also to be there to support him.
Right.
And then, you look at it. Priyanka has already spent so many years.
Yeah, she's been pretty active.
And actually, he's going to be working with her very closely. Right. And she is going to be his mentor to start with.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention Priyanka. Of last 2-3 years, I've seen her pretty actively with her Dubai tourism. And
you can't match her, yeah. She's too good.
Great. Like I said,
perfectionist, And so, something Ankush may not be, but wo apna to the T kaam karti hai. I must appreciate her on this manner.
Good. So, thank you, Shyam. And I do hope I'll have a real coffee with you one day soon.
Yeah. And we must have coffee, and we must have this maybe after New Year, just to thank me that do aapne kaha wo ho gaya.
Yeah. No, we do a recap. We do a recap of things where we are. Because you talked about predictions, so I'll catch you on your predictions.
Actually, क्या है मैं दिल से बोला है. And this is not my wish. This is my brain telling me this is going to happen. But people have to be very disciplined to do all these things. Asham ji ने बोला तो ये थोड़ा कि हो जाएगा. तुमको भी दिमाग लगाना है. You have to be disciplined. You have to be very. I want people now to learn from this. Actually, the last thing if I can tell, when you make money this next 5 years, plow back some. Not many people. The youngster today who are 30, 40, I do not want to be rude or whatever you want to say. ये बचाते नहीं है यार. ये क्रेडिट कार्ड कॉन्सेप्ट जो है ना, मेरे को बड़ा अनईजी लगता है. जब बुरा टाइम आता है ना, then they look here and there. अरे आएगा तो ठीक है, एक साल मैं खुद जी सकता हूँ. That's the kind of clawback they should have. They should reduce their ODs and all outstandings. They can reduce their interest costs. There are many things you can do in life. Like I had never borrowed money from bank. अब लोग बोलते हैं तो इतना बिजनेस कैसे खड़ा कर दिया. मैंने कहा यार ये तो मैं तो समझाने नहीं आने वाला. But you can do all these things. We are a non-leveraged company. Ankush doesn't have a single paisa OD on it.
Good.
And it does 2 billion. So everything is possible. Damag lagao.
Great. Thanks, Ashish. Thanks.
You see, technology, Gaurav and Ankush became a lethal combination.
Yeah.
और उनका बाप तो बैठा है उनके ऊपर बता रहा है उनको क्या करना है. Don't take that trade away from me. But
all you have to tell them is मैं हूँ ना. All right. Thank you, Shyam.
Okay. Thanks so much.
All the best. I hope everybody enjoyed it. And thanks for people who came and listened to me out and had patience to sit there and work. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you on 28th for our next session on Coffee with Ashish. Till then, stay safe, stay at home, take care.
Bye.